don't see the work.
Let's quickly go to our next topic or discussion where we talked a little about the autonomy of the judiciary, and we have a situation in Gombe State where there's been a clash there between the NJC and the governor of that state, where the governor has been accused of a collaboration with the Judicial Service Commission of the state to to stop Honorable Justice Beatrice Eliad from being appointed as the Chief Judge of the state. And the governor's favorite there is Honorable Justice Mwazo Pindiga. And now, the latest now, we discussed this briefly some time ago, but the latest now is Justice Pindiga has been on what's the word now? Acting capacity. And in his acting capacity, it expired on Thursday, and there've not been any information from the government of renewing his appointment and acting capacity, or bringing in the most senior judge of the state, talking about Beatrice Eliad. And so right now there is a vacuum, and it poses the question of just how autonomous is the judiciary really in Nigeria, because I mentioned it off camera. The executive is being elected into office by the people with the constitution, headed by the president. The legislatures also elected into office, and then headed by the President of the Senate. But why is it different for the judiciary?
They have to be appointed.
Where they have to be appointed, whereby the leaders of the executives, both in the Federation and the different states, will have to oversee the appointment of these, the head of the legislature, either in the federal government or the state government, thereby causing this friction. Quickly.
Okay, very quickly, like I said, Section 271 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, as amended, deals with the issue of the appointment of a chief judge of a state. All right, like in the case of the CJN, the chief judge of a state is appointed by the governor upon the recommendation of the NJC, National Judicial Council, and confirmed by the State Assembly.
Or the National Assembly.
State Assembly in the case of a state.
Yes.
And then for the Federal National Assembly. Now, in the case of Gombe, case in point, and then Section 271 sub 4 talks particularly about this 4 and 5, deal with it. Now, where there is a vacuum, and that vacuum, from what I understand it, is where an incumbent chief judge of the state either is sick or for whatever reason couldn't act, the state governor is allowed to appoint the next most senior judge in acting capacity for 3 months. Now, where that happens, if that person becomes capable, the person can return. But that person that's appointed for 3 months cannot be reappointed except upon the recommendation of the NGC. So in the case of Gombe, Mazo having acted for 3 months, unless the NGC recommends him, he cannot be reappointed. And even his appointment before the start in acting capacity was wrong, because, like you've said, the most senior judge, Justice Beatrice, was not incapacitated. She was there. And the Constitution, the part of the Constitution, the section of the Constitution I've just read, said the person to be appointed even in that acting capacity. That's why I said that section presupposes not even a situation where the substantive CJN has retired or died, but where he's incapacitated and is probably in a position to return. That may even have to be looked at subsequently by way of amendment. But as it stands, now it was breached where he failed to appoint Justice Beatrice and appointed Mwazo. He acted unconstitutionally in the first instance, and even as it stands now, he can only appoint him, and the only thing he can do is for him to appoint, of course, I believe the NJC will do the right thing, Because the agency, of course, he can only appoint with the recommendation of the agency. The agency refuses it. After, like you know, he sent the names and failed to include her name. If she doesn't do that, the agency exists to ensure that the judiciary does not become so bastardized. And I hope the agency will do the right thing.
So what can the agency do in the case where the governor still...
I think the agency hasn't done, in my view, well in this matter. Because if you look at it, this man has been acting for over a year. He started acting in December 2019. Now, Beatrice Ilia was originally appointed for 3 months. When the time expired, they appointed Piniga, who has been acting for over a year. Typically, just like Malevra has said, under the Constitution, you cannot extend beyond 3 months unless the National Judicial Council approves it. If they did, then they did something wrong. That was the mistake they made from the beginning. They shouldn't have allowed Piniga to even act in the first place. So now I'm happy that they have come to do the right thing. They are insisting now that you have to send in a list that include the most senior.
Okay, unfortunately, time is really running out, so this is where we're going to, anchor, of course, join the curtain for this week's edition of Democracy and the Rule of Law. Thank you so much for coming today, Barrister Destiny Takan and Barrister Elvis Asia. Thank you so much for your time. Next week, Sunday, is another day on Galaxy Television, 1 o'clock. I'm Solomon Offen. Good afternoon.